Don't be so hard on yourself, Lucy. Honestly, you're doing really well.
How would you know? Have you ever popped a sprog out?
No, but I'm a qualified midwife. I do have a degree.
Yeah, but that's like teaching someone to drive when you've never been behind the wheel.
You think so? You know you don't have to come to these classes. You could go it alone and ditch the support and figure it out all by yourself. Would you prefer to do that? Harold obviously held on to them when our parents died. Partly it saved him having to find a place to live. Also, I just felt like he...
What do you mean?
I suppose I better tell you. He thought he knew what killed our parents. Have you heard of the Legend of Krampus?
It's an old folklore, I think.
Harold believed that Krampus came back for people's souls, and not just for children. He got so obsessed with the idea to the point where he just thought that Krampus would come back for me and him one day. It's James. I think he's a victim of domestic violence. He came to hospital today with bruises. I mean, the bruises were everywhere. I mean, he told me that he fell off his bike, but it just doesn't add up.
Did you get that from a book?
Not exactly. I got it from a Karate Kid movie. Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off, yeah. Rest now, Danielson. That's actually a great name.
Oh, Daniel. Oh, that's a lovely name.
No. Miyagi.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode on Lapetina Presents. Now I have a special guest from the United Kingdom. She's an actress. Her name is Natasha R Mills. Let's learn more about her. All right.
What I can talk about, like I've got some ideas from other workshops that I've done, because I'd like to weave in a bit, if it's appropriate, to talk about nutrition and the importance of it and as an alternative treatment.
Yes, because our health depends what we eat. Yes. If we don't start love our body, how are we going to, if we don't respect what we eat, how are we going to start develop love for ourselves? This is something I'm working on myself, to believe me. So
we're all work in progress. That's it. Never don't have to
Exactly.
get it right. And I just think that now anyway. And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, bringing in mindfulness, I can do that and talk about the importance of being more mindful when you're going through a tough time, but even on your journey as an actor, the importance of mindfulness. It's so important, because if I didn't do, I even think that now, if I didn't do the mindfulness and compassion course, I wouldn't be where I am now. I probably wouldn't have done that film. I wouldn't have done the book. I wouldn't have done a lot of things that I did in a short space of time, because I didn't believe in myself, didn't have any confidence, and I also went through so much self-blame, and I was incredibly depressed. So, and that was the only thing that saved me, was the mindfulness and self-compassion, because what I learned is, if you can be more peaceful, and what they talk in Buddhism is being at peace with yourself, which is part of equanimity of mind, and I talk a lot about that in a week section of my course, with equanimity of mind. Having that, then you can separate yourself and understand the suffering that you go through, and recognize the arrows that come to you, which, like, you've got the first arrow, which we don't have control over, which is situation, circumstance, but the second arrow is your choice, if you're going to react to it or not.
Exactly.
Finding
Yes.
peace in a situation, and even finding peace on a journey as an actor, instead of being caught up in, oh, I got rejected, okay, That's all right. It's a learning. It's a way to learn and get better. I can get better. And how can I help others? I always think that now. I always think now, it's not about me, it's about everybody else. Like, it'd be nice for me to get things that I like, but in being in this world, I realized through studying mindfulness and compassion is so much for helping others and supporting others on your journey, because that's, I believe, is the purpose that we all have in life. We're here to help others thrive and be the best that they can be. We're all here to support each other, part of this common humanity experience.
That's beautiful. I like what you're doing, and like I said, so that's gonna be a great topics to talk about in this event. I think it's gonna be, and I feel also very proud and very happy to share your inspirational videos. You never know which life you can change just for watching your inspirational in meditation, motivation, and mindfulness, which is very beautiful.
Yeah, I'd love to, like, I mean, I don't know if I'm able to talk about my course and if I and talk about the 6-week course that I have, if that's and just to kind of add that in and talk about where it comes from, where I go in deeper in my 6-week course. And if anyone wants to hear anything more about that, then just you can come and have a chat with me.
Awesome.
Yeah, so maybe I could add that in as well.
And I like how you combine the mindfulness and how it's been help you to deal with the casting rejection, and and help you to become more stronger, hard skin, to be able to move forward. Because it's like, for example, people that are going to the job interviews and they feel rejected, we feel the world is going up, is pulled down us, and we start thinking that there's no more opportunities ahead, and we are criticize ourselves. But your technique and mindfulness, it helps a lot to start building compassion ourselves. It's just an experience, it's not the end of the world. But like you said, as an actress, it's gonna be it's a challenge, because it's everything complete as a person. When it's rejected, it's a dream, or your dream, like okay, I wanna that role, and then they tell you, or you feel like you're very close, and they say no, you didn't meet the expectations. And I can imagine this is very
that's what I usually kind of say. The importance is, if you're struggling, even if you get rejected, just how can you how can I show myself more compassion right now is a good question. And by saying something like, it's okay, I'm here for you. And just, if the more you do it, the more consistent you are to doing it. But the only way you can cultivate it is actually through practicing mindfulness. Because otherwise, like, actually listening to mindfulness, listening to a meditation is the only way to actually cultivate it, because that's how I've learned it. And we're all work in progress and changing all the time, so you have to just be consistent with it. Just exactly what I teach really is doing that and asking yourself the right questions, which is really important. Recognizing, then you can recognize patterns of behavior. I did this talk the other day on negative self-talk, actually. And when I talk about negative self-talk, there's this like analogy I talk about. Imagine that you're in a cave and you see yourself having an emotion. So you're witnessing yourself. So you're slumped, you've got your shoulders down, you're looking to the floor. The thought that you're giving it is giving it fuel, which leads to the emotion, which leads to the pattern of behavior, which becomes a familiarity. And so you become this cycle carries on, and it all starts from that thought that you had. So if you didn't have that thought, or you caught that thought before it turned into the emotion, because it's the emotion that geared the thought, because it leads to the action that you take, if that's going to be positive or negative. then you can change it. But it's like, because we live in this world and the external circumstances and way we've brought up, that's how we take in the world. We don't see the world as it is. We see the world as we are through our own eyes, which doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. It's just what we think and what we see.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's what I talk about when I talk about how I categorize that, because I think it's a good way. Imagine observing yourself, because then you think, okay, so it's the thought that leads to the emotion, leads to the action. So what can I do about that? Is reframing and increasing more positive emotion, because it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So if you can counteract that and increase more positive emotion within a day, you can, like, say, think about something. I mean, this takes time to do this. I'm talking about, it does take quite a long time to get used to doing it. If you're thinking of something negative, think about something that you're grateful for. Just imagine it in your mind, and then do that 3 times in the same day, and then it will counteract that negative feeling that you're feeling right now, and it won't be as strong. So basically you're softening that experience, and that's the best way to do it. And it's basically through compassion, really. It's giving yourself more positive emotion through visualization and also self-compassion.
That's beautiful. Yes, true. It's okay, we have one negative thought, substitute by 3 positive things to feel gratitude. Yes, and then the power of the attraction, we brings for how we feel. We feel down, bring negative things in our life.
Yeah, so true. I know that even myself. Like, when I feel down and I feel negative, then I attract it, and then it's like this vicious cycle. But when I feel positive, it's like I feel really good, and I get this insight. So we get this insight from the universe that's directing us, but the universe can't get through if we're in a negative state. So we're not going to feel like doing anything, because of, we're not connected to our spirit, are we? We're just connected to our bodies, which isn't the same spirit. So I find it interesting. Yeah.
Do you feel that the acting journey take you to study yoga and mindfulness, or was the opposite? For example, if you study mindfulness and then I motivate you to do the actresses, or after you be in the judging journey, you start finding like I need something to improve my auto-esteem, for example. How was the connection?
Yeah, how we got into acting in the first place?
Yes, but yes, with the mindfulness, I know you mentioned too much about how to deal with the rejection. So how
did I get back into acting?
Yes, how the actresses connect you with the mindfulness, or trainings and all these things, how connecting with the acting.
Oh, how is it connecting with the acting?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, with mindfulness helps you to live in the present moment. And also you bring in non-judgment. So instead of seeing your thoughts as right or wrong, you just see them as they are, without trying to change anything. Because most of us, when we're having a thought that's negative, we try and push it away. We might say, why me? Or why is this happening to me? Or I don't want to feel this, which reinforces the same emotion. And then it gets worse because it's becoming much stronger. Therefore, the thought is basically getting stuck. And you're getting stuck in this cycle. And if you stay in something longer than, say, 10 minutes, that's basically going to ruin your whole, mostly likely, it's going to could ruin your whole day because of that. So it's just through mindfulness, being more mindful, building that sense of self-awareness in the present moment, instead of ruminating on the past or even thinking about the future, just living in the present moment and then taking it from there. Because we've only lived from moment to moment. It doesn't matter about what's going to happen in the future. It just matters about now, because the future is unpredictable. And we live in this state of impermanence. Change happens. If we can soften our experience to the suffering that we go through, then it won't feel as strong. What I mean by that is obviously losses in life that we go through, people, we lose someone, it might be a relationship, it could be anything that happens.
Yes.
It could be a job. If we can be kinder towards ourselves and learn to be able to be that kinder, live in the present moment and support ourselves, then we can soften that experience. So I talked about the arrows. So you've got the first arrow, which is we don't have the choice of the first arrow because it's our circumstance, it's what happens. But the second arrow that comes through, if you get shot by a second arrow, you have a choice of how you're going to respond to that. The emotion that you're going to give off, are you going to let it affect you? Or are you going to try to soften that experience? Maybe just by placing your hand on your heart and saying, it's okay, I'm here for you. It's all right, you know? So that can be really helpful. And it's certainly helped me in those times. And then you've got the fierce side of self-compassion, which is, you've got this.
Yes,
That's it. Yeah, you've got this. I understand that it's hard for you. So no more words of encouragement. I understand this is hard for you, but you've got this. Don't give up now. And the more you cultivate and the more you're able to do that, it becomes easier for you to encourage yourself, but you have to start somewhere.
Exactly.
And
What inspired you? What inspired you to become an actress? So before all this mindfulness, but before that, what inspired you? I want to be an actress.
So so start from what inspired me to be an actress. Well, I finished school and then I studied performing arts. I did a diploma there, but after that, because I was so young, I didn't really pursue it. I kind of did a few jobs like here and there, and then later on I went to this small drama school called YPTC in London. Again, that was kind of a small school that I was learning. I didn't really pursue it then. I was in my early 20s, and then I followed through and went into childcare. So I studied my MVQ. Then I met someone, and I did my first showreel scene. Never done that before. I went back into acting, feeling sort of open-minded. I talk about this in my story, Hope. Feeling open-minded, wanting to go in and just basically new journey, new experience. And I loved it. It was exciting. And I got to be in character, be in another world and another person. And it was exciting. So that's what got me there. It was rediscovering. And also it helps you just to rediscover things about yourself. I think that's definitely a part for me.
That's nice. I heard from another actress that she says that she used the acting career as a part of therapy to improve her autoesteem. Yeah,
Yes.
Can be. It's a good idea, and I can imagine because like I said earlier, you guys face the rejection so hard in comparison. Like we're going to general job interview, the feeling of that reaction is a bit different from you guys because the first thing you pop up to your mind, I'm not a good looking person, or I was wrong in my performance, like everything like in one package. So that's even can affect a lot of the people autoesteem. It's not easy to deal with that type of rejection. And what about your first screenplay? I'm the colorblind. Can you tell us about that short film, and if there's someone related to you, the colorblind, or people that you a song or having that? Can you tell us more about that short film?
Yeah, sure. So how that came about is working with an ex-partner on the film Colorblind. And it's loosely based on an experience that I had in my past, not as connected, but also it kind of interlinked other people involved in the film and what they knew of other people going through domestic violence. So essentially it was a girl, Amber. She was in a relationship and she was being coerced, but starting from the beginning of the relationship or when they're meeting and it's wonderful. Just turn off this second. And it's exciting. But over time, you see this coerciveness, and she's becoming very introverted and not wanting to talk about it. And then you see these stages of domestic violence as they occur. So through the time after the mum, then meeting the mum, and then they move in together, and then he has suspicion that she's, seeing somebody else, and he's very sort of watchful and what she's doing and everything else, and he's making sure, keeping a good eye on her. And then it gets worse over time, that you see the effects of the violence. And as it progressively gets worse through the stages, right at the end when she dies.
That's nice.
So it's very powerful, and we had Safe Lives support the film, which was good. And Jill Halfpenny played the role of the mum, but it was all done through voiceover, so quite clever in terms of like the camera angles. But I was like the main face in the film. And then you've got the panning of the camera throughout, when the camera was panned up and then panned down, and you get the interesting changes of when it occurs, of when she's fine, and then suddenly you see she's got a cut on her lip. So it's stylistically, I thought it was pretty clever in that sense. Yeah.
That's nice, beautiful. And how the acting career helped you to be a screenwriter?
I think in a sense, like, it's story writing, and when you're playing a character and you're playing all these different characters in films, and you're bringing a story to life, so you have these different ideas. But to be honest, when I was younger, I used to love story writing. I used to just I used to go to school, and I used to sit there when I could and just write stories. And
okay, so something you have with you. So you like, you burn with that writing skills, talent.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that. I just used to love writing stories and escaping in my own little world.
Yes,
and imagining what that would be like. So I think that's always kind of stuck with me, creating something out of nothing. And a scenario in my head where I have these different pictures and ideas. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting. And then I might write about it. So that's kind of how I work, really, in terms of the writing side.
Yes, that's good. Yeah, because some people, they are good in writing. Like me, I'm that group of people that are better in math, for example. Yeah, so you feel like you have that tendency to that direction, to be be a writer and create something from nothing. You like to create. That's beautiful.
I like to when I'm have space, when I'm have a clear head and I feel really calm, because that's a good place to be in. And I have to talk about that with actors and people that work with me, that the importance of having peace of mind. When you can have peace of mind, then you can do that audition, then you can do what's coming up for you, and it won't be so hard. The more stress you put on yourself, more pressure you put on yourself, it's going to be a lot harder, and you'll find the delivery a lot more difficult. So having peace of mind will give you more insight into what you need to do, because that's how we get direction that way, is what I've learned.
And I would like to highlight this. Your recent feature film that you worked, the Winnie Pooh, The Blood and Honey, was featured in CNN, USA, Latin America, Philippines, Fox 5, and Millennials and Mexican Press.
Fox 5,
what a fantastic, congratulations to you and all the team. of this fantastic feature film. I know you had I'm pretty sure most likely you have a restriction to discuss about this, but so far you have been sharing on Facebook pages. How was your experience to be on this fantastic project?
Yeah, it was great. There's some great locations. I think we had 3 different locations. It was really exciting, and I played second lead in the film. I can't really say much about it because the trailer's not out yet, but the trailer will be out in the next 4 weeks, I think. So then I'll be able to talk a little bit more about the role that I played in the film. But I was second lead. My name was Jess. That's probably all I can say at the moment.
So I cannot wait to watch the film, and of course have a physical copy because I love to collect physical copies. And it is one of the films I'm very anxious to watch it because it's the opposite side of the children's story. Like everybody grew up with a Winnie Pooh, but now it's the opposite side.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to sort of talk about that a little bit. Because this film is actually based on the original A.A. Melanie. Is it Melanie? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing him right, but might be Mill. That's the original Winnie the Pooh. It's not because Winnie. So Disney took Winnie the Pooh on and gave him a red T-shirt. So that's what they claim own the rights to. Is the actual red T-shirt. So this one was actually based on the original one. I think it was 1916. Not sure.
I know that. Wow.
But yeah. So yeah, that's the interesting thing. So in the film, Winnie has a lumberjack outfit. So very sort of different, and we know it's horror. So there is some interesting elements to that, which creates a lot of intrigue throughout the film, and I really enjoy playing the different transitions and throughout the character. Yeah.
But now it's in the press worldwide because I put just the name of the film is mentioned everywhere. What I mentioned to was a few press companies, but in reality it's just worldwide. It's a lot of people waiting for that film. Yes.
Yeah, it's massively blown up in America, China, everywhere. So yeah, everyone's really excited because now they've released the poster. It went on Dread Central straight away, and I think Paramount owned Dread Central, I think, as far as I know. So and people were just going crazy over that. So they're really looking forward to actually finding the footage for it so they can post it. And some people are even creating trailers for Winnie the Pooh, which is quite funny, that they're claiming that that's the actual trailer. So yeah, it was great. It was a great project to be part of, and I really enjoyed it.
And I'm very proud of you because you're very, very ongoing person. You go into that direction without looking around. You're the type of woman that you have no excuses. You move forward, you move forward, you move forward. And thank you for being you, and thanks for inspiring. Yes, you're a great inspiration, not only about the film industry, but also what you're doing, the mindfulness, all the energy you're doing with your company. And I feel very honored to have you in my shows in working together in future projects, because we need more people like you, that nobody stop you to reach your dream, because be in this type of project at your very young age, and it's not easy, but it's because you learn how to deal with the rejection. You learn how to build yourself, and nobody's gonna stop me. Many people reject me, but I'm there.
Yeah. So going back to what helped me in the first place and why I am here is mindfulness and self-compassion. Always go back to that because that's what strengthened me. Learning how to be kinder towards myself during the tough times I was going through. Otherwise, I would be stuck and feel like I'm stuck, like most of us tell ourselves that I'm stuck and I can't move forward, but that's a choice. And we have a choice if we we all have a choice if we're going to move or we're going to stay in the same position. So it's mind over matter, really, as they say, as an expression, isn't it? So.
And what about your experience working with a film director, Frake Wadenfield?
How was the
Reese.
Experience with yeah, Reese is lovely. Yeah, it was great to work with. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, really enjoyed working with him. So yeah, I'm hoping to work with him again.
Awesome, looking forward for it. And also you're involved in 2 more projects recently, Return the Krampus, and this is like...
Oh, Krampus, yeah. So Krampus was the one before Winnie, with the same company, Jagged Edge. Different director, that was David Gregory. And yeah, I've seen clips of that recently, but they're releasing that at Christmas time, because it has a Christmas element to it, and I don't know what I can say too much about it, but Krampus is based on the original Krampus. Remember, like so it's interesting, and again, I lead role in it, but I can't talk too much about that because it's not out until Christmas, and they haven't released a trailer yet. So it was a great project to be part of, and that was my first feature. Awesome. So this is my second feature. So yeah, really great to get involved in the project. Really enjoyed it, and it also allowed me to stretch myself and see what I was capable of actually doing. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It is discovering more things about yourself. Exactly. And how you can push yourself as an actor, as we all want to do, really. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any advice for those people who wants to reach their dreams in acting career? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah. So if you want to achieve your dream, really, first step is believing in yourself. But before you can believe yourself, it's finding a way to be kinder towards yourself in those times. And it really comes down to that. It's learning, I can't stress enough, really, meditation, being more mindful, trust and faith, and hope, being at peace, having equanimity of mind, which is a huge part. If you can be more at peace with yourself, then you're going to drive yourself forward, because you'll get this insight. It will just come down. It's like the universe is talking to you and guiding you in the direction where you want to go, and it's helping you every step of the way if you're willing to listen to it. So it's really having that peace of mind and faith and hope that you are not alone on this journey. There's someone else out there for you that's supporting you every step of the way. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Natasha, for being on my show, and looking forward to meeting you again about doing follow-ups on your acting and mindfulness career. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Really enjoyed it. Thank you for having me.
He was Prince Charming. I fell in love with him instantly.
It's like there's no pause or stop button. You just have to watch the whole thing through.
A neighbor who heard her screaming called police.
25-year-old Carly Hager says she never imagined her Prince Charming, the man she hoped to someday marry, would turn violent.
This is a country where, on average, we're told 2 women are killed every week by a male partner or ex-partner.
She was beaten so badly by her partner it left her with severe and permanent damage.
Still screaming and crying and trying to get away.
After suffering horrific abuse herself at the hands of an ex-partner.
Don't ever let them tell you that you're worth nothing, that you have nowhere to go. Don't let them take your spirits away from you.
Not sure which way to go. My wet clothes, they cling to me. It's dark now, I can see as I take a breath. I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet. I wear my heart on my sleeve, walk for miles to find me. You trip, you keep me down, keep me guessing who I am. Wanna pass this test.